World Wars, Newspapersal. A world war is a conflict involving several of the most powerful and populous nations in the world. World wars involve numerous nations on several continents, and battles are fought in various geographic locations. To know more about world wars, read further. The two wars that took place in the 20th century are commonly referred to as World Wars: 1. The First World War, or World War I, 1914 to 1918-2. Second World War, or World War II, 1939 to 1945. When the United States is included, as it was in the War of 1812 with Great Britain, it can also be used to describe the Napoleonic Wars, the War of the Spanish Succession, the 7 Years' War. World wars caused many political and economical changes. World War I. The first major global conflict of the industrial age, World War I demonstrated the incredible fortitude, resiliency, and killing prowess of contemporary powers. The phrase "the Great War" was frequently used. Nationalism and belief in the pre-existing social order were also at their highest during the war. On July 28, 1914, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, sparking the start of this conflict. This seemingly little confrontation between the two nations grew out of control quickly. Germany, Russia, the United Kingdom, and France were soon entangled in the conflict, partly because of their participation in treaties that required them to defend specific other countries. In the conflict, the Allies, namely France, Great Britain, Russia, Italy, Japan, and, starting in 1917, the United States, faced up against the Central Powers. The Central Powers were defeated at its conclusion. In terms of the amount of death, destruction, and carnage, the war was essentially unprecedented. It culminated in the destabilization of European society, the fall of four powerful imperial dynasties, and the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, all of which served as the catalyst for World War II. Prime causes of World War I. Mutual defense alliances. Imperialism. Militarism. Nationalism. Immediate cause: assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Extreme political, cultural, and social transformation followed World War I in Europe, Asia, Africa, and even in regions that weren't directly involved. Due to the war, 4 regions took on abnormal shapes, old countries were dissolved, new ones were created, borders were altered, international organizations were set up. Germany and the United Kingdom underwent a political transformation as a result of World War. World War II. The world's most catastrophic battle had just occurred. This had an international influence. The world was engulfed in fire, which was not limited to Europe. It took place between 1939 and 1945. From 1939 through 1945, almost the whole world was engaged in World War II, often known as the Second World War. The main combatants were the Allies, which included France, Great Britain, the United States, the Soviet Union, and, to a lesser extent, China and the Axis force switch. After an uneasy 20-year respite, the war was in many ways a continuation of the World War I-era conflicts. It's arguable that the most important part of the 20th century was the Second World War. Dennis Cove, 2002. When Nazi Germany invaded Poland on September 1, 1939, the European War officially began. It lasted until Japan, the final member of the Axis, formally surrendered on September 2, 1945. However, the war in Asia started earlier due to Japanese involvement in China, while the war in Europe concluded earlier due to Germany's unconditional capitulation on May 8, 1945. In addition to spilling over into Africa and the Americas, the conflict resulted in numerous significant naval engagements. It led to significant technological advances and created the groundwork for post-war social reforms like the end of European colonialism, the American Civil Rights Movement, etc. The primary combatants were the Allied countries, commanded by Britain, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, and the United States of America, as well as the Axis nations. Causes of war. The major causes of World War II were as follows: the Holocaust, Japanese imperialism, attack on Pearl Harbor, Normandy landings in Europe, dropping of atomic bombs on Japan. Newfoundland and Labrador had a number of quick and significant social changes as a result of the Second World War. The Commission of Government received an unanticipated amount of revenue through the creation of foreign bases, which it used to create social services. Healthcare, education, transportation, communication, and other areas also saw improvements. Article written by Athena Fatima Riaz.